anew, um, and I just thought it was worth um, just spending like half a second talking about how and why this started um, about 4.5 years ago. I don't even actually remember what terrible thing had happened in the world because we have no shortage of terrible things happening in the world. But it felt appropriate to gather and do this practice as a way of people collectively feeling like they could contribute to what was going on. And from that, I think we went straight into the Ukraine war. And so we did Shanglon every week for 4 years. And last year I took a little bit of a break. And this year we're doing the monthly. But it really came out of that desire to hold a space for people all to come together and put their intentions out there, which isn't to say you shouldn't ask the protectors for help for yourself as well. But I think it's good to remember that we just don't know what change we can affect by putting all our energies together and calling on them. And I came across a fabulous poem yesterday, which I thought just encapsulated this so perfectly. Um, I don't know if you know of Mahmoud Darwish, but his poetry is beautiful. And I just thought this just spoke to what I've held in my heart all these years for this practice. Um, as you prepare your breakfast, think of others. Do not forget the pigeon's food. As you conduct your wars, think of others. Do not forget those who seek peace. As you pay your water bill, think of others, those who are nursed by clouds. As you return home to your home, think of others. Do not forget the people of the camps. As you sleep and count the stars, think of others, those who have nowhere to sleep. As you liberate yourself in metaphor, think of others, those who have lost the right to speak. And as you think of others far away, think of yourself. Say, if only I were a candle in the dark. I just thought that was spectacular. If anyone wants a copy, let me know and I'll send it to you. Oh, actually, I'll put it in the chat and then you can download it if you want to. Gotta find it. There it is. So that's I mean, unfortunately, humans being who and what we are, there's never a shortage of things to pray for, but we do our best. All right. I'll stop waffling and we'll just get on with it now. And to begin, I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land from where I'm joining you this evening. And for me, that is the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. And I pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and honour their living connection to the land and waters of this country. I offer the same respect to any elder of any tradition who may be joining us today, and encourage you to take a moment to think of the traditional owners of the lands where you are joining us from. The Shanglon. The Shanglon clear the path of obstacles, protect the lineage of healing, and support all who practice medicine for the welfare of the world. We see here our two Shanglons. There are the seated and the one on the horseback. He has these two manifestations. He's guardian of the sacred science of healing and protector of the teachings of the Gyud Shi, the Four Medical Tantras. In his seated form, he protects the teachings of the medical tantras, the physicians and medical practitioners, medical knowledge, the correct transmission of healing methods, and the well-being of patients. So he is covering all areas of healing that you can imagine. This is on 3 levels: protecting from external obstacles affecting medicine and healing work. On the inner level, protecting from mental afflictions such as anger, fear, and ignorance. And in secret, transformation of suffering through wisdom and compassion. On the horse form, he is riding swiftly, and he moves through the world swiftly, removing obstacles and disturbances that interfere with healing and the work of healing. In particular, he protects the Yuthok Nyingthik lineage and those engaged in the spiritual practices of healing. So seated is the actual physical healing and emotional healing. The horseback is the spiritual side of healing, and he's known to act swiftly and forcefully. Dr. Nita will say, of all the protectors, Shanglon Dorje is the general. So he removes the obstacles that interfere with healing practice, spiritual cultivation within the lineage, the activity of benefiting others through medicine. And he also works on 3 levels. On the outer level, it's the swift removal of external obstacles that hinder healing activity and the work of doctors and healers. On the inner level, it's overcoming the inner disturbances such as fear and doubt, emotional turbulence, anything that obstructs the healer's clarity, and anything that obstructs the patient receiving. And in a secret level, the enlightened activity that swiftly transforms obstacles into compassionate action for the benefit of all beings. Which all sounds very big, and it is. And we shouldn't be afraid to ask for big things because the capacity and the compassion of the Buddhas and the protectors is infinite. But we can also call on him to remove obstacles in our own lives, for help when the big things happen, and of course, help for all sentient beings. So as we move through the practice, I encourage you to do all of that. Think big. So think about the things that you would like help with, or the areas in your life where you feel there are obstacles. Shanglon can help you in both of his manifestations. But also, if you can and if you wish to, take a moment to think too of the bigger picture for all the sentient beings and the enormous amount of suffering that is facing every part of this planet right now. So that's our main thing. As we'll go through the simple practice, and then we will do the 2 mantras. At the end of each mantra, we will sit with that for a little while, make a supplication. I will say some things, but that's just to get the ball rolling. You should also think of the things that you are holding dear in your heart and ask for those. Yeah, it's not just what I have to say. So with this, now we enter the practice, and first we take refuge. And for this practice, we actually take refuge in Yuthok. That's Yuthok there, the father of Tibetan medicine, Yuthok Nyingthik. And when we take refuge in Yuthok, we're actually taking refuge in all the Buddhas. And this is repeated across all of the Nyingthik practices, that when you pray to Yuthok, you're praying to all the Buddhas. So we'll say it twice in Tibetan and once in English. Namo. Gyud Shi Dorje Chung Chok Tu Konchok Sunji No Dakshin Janchok Matokpa Ningne Niva Chapsuchi. Gyud Shi Dorje Chung Chok Tu Konchok Sunji No Dakshin Janchok Matokpa Ningne Niva Chapsuchi. Homage, you who are the union of all Sagatas and Vajradhara, essence of the 3 jewels in the 10 directions and 3 times. Until I and all others achieve enlightenment, from my inner heart I take refuge in you. And then, of course, Bodhicitta. Sanji Chunang Sukchi Chunamla, Janju Padu Dani Chop Suchi, Daji Jin Sok Dipe Sunam Ki, Drola Panche Sanji Dupashu. Sanji Chunang Sukchi Chunamla, Janju Padu Dani Chop Suchi, Daji Jin Sok Dipe Sunam Ki, Drola Panche Sanji Dupashu. Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, until enlightenment, I take refuge in you. Through my merit of generosity and so on, may I attain Buddhahood for the good of all sentient beings. Now the 4 measurables. Beautiful prayer. Semshin tamche dewa dang diwe gu dang din paguchik. Semshin tamche duknao dang duknao ji ju dang jelwa guchik. Semshin tamche duknao. Me pe dewa dang mi delwa guchik. Semshin tamche nining chak dang ni dang rel wei dang niu na nepa. Nyingthik. May all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be separated from the supreme joy that is beyond all sorrow. May all beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment, aversion, and sorrow. May all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be separated from the supreme joy that is beyond all sorrow. May all beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment, aversion, and sorrow. And because Shanglon is the general of the army of the medicine Buddha, and the protector of his healing activity, we first will call upon medicine Buddha. So we see him here in his lapis blue, sitting peacefully. And as we say the mantra, visualize a light, a deep blue light of compassion and wisdom coming from his heart into you and filling your body and mind, dissolving illness and suffering and all causes of imbalance. When that is full, then it goes out into the world. So we fill ourselves first before we take it out into the world. If you have had the appropriate initiations, please feel free to, visualize yourself as medicine Buddha. You can leave your eyes open or closed. If you're not good at visualizing, just look at the image or imagine him sitting in front of you, whatever works for you. There's no pressure here, but we're going to say full mala of medicine Buddha. Get him helping us. Tayata Om Bekense Maha Bekense Ratsamagate Soha. 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 Tayat 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 Om Bekense Maha Bekense Ratsamagate. Tayat Om Bekense yeah, 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 Yuthok Nyingthik. Yuthok Nyingthik. Yuthok Nyingthik. Yuthok Nyingthik. Yuthok Nyingthik. Yuthok Nyingthik. I'm just setting this healing field for a moment. So, from the compassion and wisdom of medicine Buddha rise the activity of healing in the world. Shanglon protects this activity, clearing the obstacles. So before him we have before us we have Shanglon seated and on horseback. On horseback he moves swiftly on a dark horse, removing obstacles that hinder healing and spiritual practice. From his fierce compassion, all disturbances dissolve and the activity of healing flourishes for the benefit of all beings. In his seated form, he holds the vajra of indestructible power and the skull cup of healing nectar, protecting the lineage of medicine. So now we wake him up, put him to work. Ramyam kam ahung ha ho hui. Mensen Shanglon kongede gula sota chudra nina tukdam kan. Shinang sangwe bache lokadang le shinun drip chukta nundrip so. Mensen Shanglon kongede gula sota chudra nina tukdam kan. Shinang sangwe bache lokadang le shinun drip chukta nundrip so. Mensen Shanglon Kongdegula so to children in a Tikdamkan. Chinang Sangwe Bache Dok Padang Le Shinan Drip Chipton. Mensen Shanglon Kongdegula so to children in a Tikdamkan. Chinang Sangwe Bache Dok Padang Le Shinan Drip Chipton. Mensen Shanglon Kongdegula so to children in a Tikdamkan. Chinang Sangwe Bache Dok Padang Le Shinan Drip Chipton. Mensen Shanglon Kongdegula so to children in a Tikdamkan. Chinang Sangwe Bache Dok Padang Le Shinan Drip Chipton. Mensen Shanglon Kongdegula so to children in a Tikdamkan. Chinang Sangwe Bache Dok Padang Le Shinan Drip Chipton. Mensen Shanglon Kongdegula so to children in a Tikdamkan. Chinang Sangwe Bache Dok Padang Le Shinan Drip Chipton. Mensen Shanglon Kongdegula so to children in a Tikdamkan. Chinang Sangwe Bache Dok Padang Le Shinan Drip Chipton. Mensen Shanglon Kongdegula so to children in a Tikdamkan. Chinang Sangwe Bache Dok Padang Le Shinan Drip Chipton. Mensen Shanglon Kongdegula so to children in a Tikdamkan. Chinang Sangwe Bache Dok Padang Le Shinan Drip Chipton. Mensen Shanglon Kongdegula so to children in a Tikdamkan. Chinang Sangwe Bache Dok Padang Le Shinan Drip Chipton. Mensen Shanglon Kongdegula so to children in a Tikdamkan. Chinang Sangwe Bache Dok Padang Le Shinan Drip Chipton. Mensen Shanglon Kongdegula so to children in a Tikdamkan. Chinang Sangwe Bache Dok Padang Le Shinan Drip Chipton. Mensen Shanglon Kongdegula so to children in a Tikdamkan. Chinang Sangwe Bache Dok Padang Le Shinan Drip Chipton. Mensen Shanglon Kongdegula so to children in a Tikdamkan. Chinang Sangwe Bache Dok Padang Le Shinan Drip Chipton. Mensen Shanglon Kongdegula so to children in a Tikdamkan. Chinang Sangwe Bache Dok Padang Le Shinan Drip Chipton. Mensen Shanglon Kongdegula so to children in a Tikdamkan. Chinang Sangwe Bache Dok Padang Le Shinan Drip Chipton. Mensen Shanglon Kongdegula so to children in a Tikdamkan. Chinang Sangwe Bache Dok Padang Le Shinan Drip Chipton. Mensen Shanglon Kongdegula so to children in a Tikdamkan. Chinang Sangwe Bache Dok Padang Le Shinan Drip Chipton. Medicine Protector Shanglon and his retinue, with praise and offerings we invite you. May your heart be fulfilled. Eliminate all outer, inner, and secret obstacles, and spontaneously accomplish the 4 actions. Transmit the common and uncommon cities. So first we'll do the mantra of the wrathful Shanglon. So this is the Shanglon who will swiftly remove obstacles. His primary task is to protect the Gyud Shi and the lineage of healing and everyone involved in healing, including patients, but also to bring swift healing and to remove the obstacles to healing. So we do a full mala of this one. Om Mahakala Yaksha Benza Sita Hum Patratna Siddhi Hum. Om Mahakala Yaksha Benza Sita Hum Patratna Siddhi Hum. Om Mahakala Yaksha Benza Sita Hum Patratna Siddhi Hum. Om Mahakala Yaksha Benza Sita Hum Patratna Siddhi Hum. Mahakala Yaksha Benza Sita Hum Patratna Siddhi Hum. Om Mahakala Yaksha Benza Sita Hum Patratna Siddhi Hum. Om Mahakala Yaksha Benza Sita Hum Patratna Siddhi Hum. Om Mahakala Yaksha Benza Sita Hum Patratna Siddhi Hum. Om Mahakala Yaksha Benza Sita Hum Patratna Siddhi Hum. Mahakala Yaksha Benza Sita Hum Patratna Siddhi Hum. Om Mahakala Yaksha Benza Sita Hum Patratna Siddhi Hum. Om Mahakala Yaksha Benza Sita Hum Patratna Siddhi Hum. Mahakala Yaksha Benza Sita Hum Patratna Siddhi Hum. Om Mahakala Yaksha Benza Sita Hum Patratna Siddhi Hum. Om Mahakala Yaksha Benza Sita Hum Patratna Siddhi Hum. Mahakala Yaksha Benza Sita. Om Mahakala Yaksha Benza Sita Hum. Connection and the thing to hold it in the city. Connection and the thing to hold it in the city. Connection and the thing to hold it in the city. Connection and the thing to hold it in the city. Connection and the thing to hold it in the city. Connection and the thing to hold it in the city. Bendecito un gadadasi, Mahakalaya Bendecito un gadadasi, Mahakalaya Bendecito un gadadasi, Mahakalaya Bendecito un gadadasi. So thinking of the things that are important to you and those you care about and all sentient beings. We ask Shanglon to swiftly bring healing to wherever it's needed and to remove the obstacles to healing so that all sentient beings may be free from suffering. That he creates the causes and conditions that peace may come, which is another kind of healing. And that he might change what is in the hearts and minds of humans, that instead of operating out of fear and greed and anger, we can receive the medicine of healing and work from a place of compassion and understanding and empathy and kindness. That swiftly to bring healing to everywhere it's needed and protect those who are not only suffering but vulnerable in places where people are truly, or all beings are truly in peril. The elderly, the frail, the sick, small children, babies, all those people who really are struggling. So we're just going to sit for a few minutes and you will think about the things that you like. Maybe you have friends or family in some places that are particularly challenged right now. You have challenges in your own life or with your own loved ones. It's okay to ask for healing for yourself and for the removal of obstacles in your own life, and have confidence that these things can be changed and swiftly. That's why he writes that big black horse. So let's just sit for a few minutes. And now we move on to seated Shanglon. And now we move on to seated Shanglon. And this one, he looks after, as we said, the spiritual side of the Yuthok Nyingthik and Tibetan medicine, but also in terms of our lives, he's helpful to us in our temporal lives, our everyday concerns. So if you've got something coming up, an exam, or you're applying for something, or signing a contract, or getting married, or ending a marriage, or any of these big things, you might be looking for a new job, somewhere to live. considering a big change in your life. So as well as your health concerns, also ask him for help with these things, yeah, because they can definitely help you with those. Do not be shy. So this is the needed channel. I hesitate to say peaceful because he doesn't look peaceful, but anyway, different. Om benzalat natsita ragalagi hum pat soha. 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 Benzalat natsita ragalagi hum pat soha. Om benzalat natsita ragalagi hum pat soha. Om benzalat. Om benzalat natsita. Om benzalat natsita. Om benzalat natsita ragalagi hum pat soha. Om benzalat natsita ragalagi hum pat soha. Through this Shanglon, as well as protecting our minds and hearts and our spiritual lives, we ask that he provides the equivalent for all sentient beings of a safe place, a haven, a roof over the head, clothing on the back, food on the table, access to clean water, clean food, clean air, to safety, to medicines and healers if that is required, to work if that is needed, to education if that is needed, access to doctors and healers in whatever way that is needed, to the things that people need as humans just working their way through the world. Maybe that's community and support and access to people with a like mind. Loneliness is epidemic in our time, and that's a real pain and a real suffering for many people. When you protect those who go out their front door every day to help somebody else, often putting their own lives in danger. Protect the teachers because we need them. Protect all the healers and the frontline responders. Bring comfort to those who need it, and grace to those who are reaching the end of their journey. Protect our teachers and lineage holders, as they're precious to us. And whatever is going on for you now is the time to ask, and we'll sit for that for a minute. So we're not doing SOG tonight. We'll go through our dedications. Through the blessings of the Medicine Buddha, the protection of Shanglon Dorje, and the power of this practice, may all illness, obstacles, and suffering be pacified, and may the healing activity that benefits beings flourish throughout the world. Now we dedicate to Yuthok Gewadi Yuthok Minja Yuthok Jubjuni Joa Chikyamanu Padi Salago Pashok. By the merit may we quickly achieve the state of Yuthok, the King of Medicine, and through this may all beings be placed on this level. And then finally, to seal the practice, we say the mantra of interdependence 3 times. Umyadama Tuchabawa Intention Natagato, Ayawadishin Sayonirada, Eva Mandi Mahashamana Soha. Umyadama Tuchabawa Intention Natagato, Ayawadishin Sayonirada, Eva Mandi Mahashamana Soha. Umyadama Tuchabawa Intention Natagato, Ayawadishin Sayonirada, Eva Mandi Mahashamana Soha. And there we are done. Thank you for joining with all of your lovely energy. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. But just quickly, for those of you who've been with me for a long time, you probably may recall that we have in the past been saying prayers for my brother, and he passed away on Monday. But I'm sure that all the prayers helped him. He had a couple more years life than they had first thought. So, and in the end, his suffering was very great. So it's a good thing. But thank you for your prayers along his journey. But yeah, if anyone has any questions or reflections, just unmute yourself or pop something in the chat. Or suggestions. I didn't give Shanglon his booze. Oh, no, no. No, he's happy now. Thank you, Pranav. Thank you, Claudius.
I have a quick question, if you
Of
don't mind.
course. Yes.
Like I always wonder, like, because we can always ask Shanglon many things, right? Different kind of things. But
Yes,
I
yes.
also don't really understand, like, we already have our own karma, like how things are in our own life, and somehow it's hard for me to like ask things just to flip my life, like suddenly. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
think I know what
how
you
much
mean.
can
Yeah, yeah.
Shanglon help?
Look, everyone's degree of faith in the Buddhas is very personal, and karma is a big subject. And I'm not a lama, but I'll answer you to my best understanding. Um, I think the problem is that sometimes it feels transactional, yes. I'm going to say this prayer 108 times and then you'll fix this problem in my life. You know, it sort of it feels a little bit cold. Um, I think one of the ways I understand it, and you know, karma is a very complex and massive subject, but this manifestation of me and of you right now on earth in this time is actually only a part of what actually makes up the whole entity that is Karen or Andreas or Margot, yeah? And the other aspects are in other timelines and other dimensions. So what affects us in one probably affects us in others. So you may not see an immediate impact here, but it might be impacting in another dimension or in another timeline of your karma that these things are resolved. I hope that makes sense. I think it's not always going to be, I've said the prayer and I get the parking space. You know, that was that terrible New Age thing a few years ago. Ask for the parking space, angels to help you. I don't think it works quite like that. And if anyone else has got far more wisdom on the subject, then I speak up. But it's an energetic connection too, isn't it? And when we focus on what we want, and this is showing up now in quantum physics and everything, we're changing the vibration of something. So if you spend a lot of time thinking about what you don't have, then nothing's changing. So by putting it into prayer and supplication, you're changing the energy within your own life, which will probably contribute towards bringing about what you're asking for. Did we make world peace tonight? Probably not. But if we keep at it, we might achieve that critical mass of positive energy going out into the universe that turns it around. We never know. That's probably a long-winded, not really answer to your question. Sorry. You probably need to ask somebody more qualified. But you can't, my understanding over the years is you can't undo karma. Where we have generated karma, good or bad, it will always ripen. But through the merit of your practice and your activities, bad karma can ripen faster with less ill effect. So you might get flu instead of breaking your leg, for example. Yeah. So I think there's also that merit building activity that makes the practice worthwhile. Yeah. It's a very big question, Andreas.
So the merits of our practice kind of like mitigate the rapid karma.
I hope so. Look, well, you know, it's all, it's complex and it's subtle and we don't really know, I guess. But my understanding is that, time is not linear. So your activities today are affecting your karma in the future and in the past.
Indeed.
Yeah. So why you think that coming along here once a month, it's nice, you feel like you're doing something, you're speaking to the protectors, does it really do anything? You're not sure, but you just don't know. You just don't know. Yeah. And that's why it's important to dedicate your merit, put it in the bank so you don't waste it. And I think that we can influence real change in our own lives and other people's by consistently focusing our thoughts, whether it's through prayer or reflection or mantra, on the positive. Yes, I do. Yeah. Has Shanglon helped me? Yes. Can I say categorically that this changed in my life because of it? And here's the empirical proof. No. But I know I've been lifted up and helped through very dark times. Yeah, through Shanglon and Yuthok. Yeah. Okay. Ask an expert. I think that one's above my pay grade. Thanks, Margot. Thank you, Pia. Thanks, Tom. Great to have you here. All right then. Well, if everybody's good, thank you again for coming.
Thanks, Karen.
And I hope you get lots of merit.
Thanks.
Go forth and change the world. Yeah.
Thanks.
In a good way. Use your powers for good, not evil. Bye, everybody.